What's good? What's good, everybody? We got a great episode on Listen to DP, man. We got a special guest, QB Stu, Jason Stewart, man. And y'all gonna want to listen to this one because not only was this guy elite level athlete, right, Division I athlete, and we're gonna get to it, but he's making was able to make $416,000 in a single day trade, man. And a lot of y'all also know the ticker, which is XRP. So that's what we're here today to talk about is how do you go from NFL dreams and aspirations, doing the college football thing to, getting over to day trading and being able to make almost $500,000 in a day. So once again, I appreciate you for jumping on, man. And it's an honor because I always like to talk to people that I know, people that I see grinding and people still, going on that journey of entrepreneurship and just being a business owner and taking their own life in their own time back into their hands. So appreciate you for jumping on, bro.
Absolutely. The privilege is mine. You honestly inspire me with your output and how regularly and how fast you're able to cover a lot of these stories, especially in college football. So that's one of the things I appreciate most about, what you got going on is like as soon as a breaking story or something happens, I immediately see you drop something, then it's the insight too, because it's like, okay, now it might have been something that I didn't even see. So I appreciate you having me on, and hopefully this story or maybe some gems or value that we give can help direct a person or transform a person's life. And to me, that would be the best possible outcome. So
facts. So we'll jump right into it, man. Obviously, Division I athlete, quarterback at Memphis. You did your thing out there. Mm-hmm. Then you went and played in the Fan Control Football League with Quavo and all those guys. Let's just start though at the beginning. Like, what was the high school recruiting like? How did you get to Memphis? Was that the biggest offer? Was that the only offer? Was that the best place? Like, kind of tell us how you started there to get to Memphis to start everything.
So I'm born and raised in Alexandria, Virginia. So I always tell people, if you see and remember the Titans, that's my city. My high school is actually in the movie. Hayfield Hawks, the orange team, when Ryan Gosling was a liability at corner.
We remember that.
Right, we remember that. Talk about, hey, you want to put PD in, you go give him your spot, So
facts. That's funny. I had no idea. That's cool right there.
Yeah, it's a great reference because I know, especially football fans, that's a classic movie. And so yeah, I played at Hayfield. I didn't get to start till my senior year. I had a 3-star athlete, like a Pat White type quarterback, who was a grade above me. And I didn't have any offers. 1, 2, 3, nothing. So then I went to Hargrave Military Academy. Mm-hmm. Luckily, it was a prep school, so I was only there for 3 months, but I didn't lose any eligibility. And then I actually had a couple of D2 full ride offers from some schools in North Carolina. And I still declined to take those because in my heart and the vision that I felt like God had given me was to go D1. So I decided to go JUCO. So I go out to Dodge City, Kansas, which is West Kansas, middle of nowhere, not a whole lot going on, And I played a whole season there where I actually ended up playing some quarterback and receiver. And then from there, we actually didn't win a single game. Okay. We went undefeated backwards.
Yeah,
and I ended up
defeated.
Yeah, exactly. But I actually ended up getting a full ride offer to Norfolk State. Okay. So I actually went to Norfolk State. I was there for maybe 2 months, and I ended up getting really sick. I got like bronchitis, pneumonia. My roommate, he kept leaving the window open when we would sleep at night. He was like this big Indian dude lineman. Which I was also a little bit, no shade on him, but I was a little bit sick. Like, how do I go to HBCU and end up with an Indian roommate? I was like, bro, it's not, the math isn't mathing.
They trying to tell you were supposed to be there.
That's why I was like, oh, I forgot. I'm the minority. I forgot. So I ended up withdrawing from Norfolk State. I didn't even get to put pads on. I didn't even get to play. But even little stuff like that, I want to mention because I was – things with the coaches I didn't like. Like, when you go on your visit and they have they say, what jersey do you want? Yeah. Well, at the time I wanted to wear 2 or 3, one of those. Yeah. And they're like, okay, it's yours. And then you show up, and then I had 16 in my locker.
Yeah.
And I know to a lot of people it might seem like, what's the big deal? No, it's a big deal. It's a big deal what number you get to wear. So then it's like, but then the deeper thing to me was the integrity of like, don't lie to me. Like, don't tell me something's mine. And then I show up and now it's a whole different story. Mind you, this is all pre-NIL, pre-portal. So, these are the
number was the NIL back in the day.
Exactly. That was like the make or break for a lot of guys. But nonetheless, I ended up withdrawing. I went back home. So now I'm at my dad's house. We're still working out at my high school, trying to figure out what's next. And then Fort Scott Community College, there was an opportunity for me to go back to Kansas. I had played against Fort Scott the season before, so they knew I had like 240 passing, 130 rushing against them.
Okay.
And they were like, okay, yeah, like we remember him. Even though we beat them, like, we'll take him. So I went to Fort Scott and actually had to compete against a USF commit. His name was Jay Gunsby. It's like 6'4". He was like a Cam Newton, bro. I can't lie.
Yeah.
But the thing that he lacked was the preparation and the understanding of a playbook and stuff like that. He had all the God-given talent you could dream of, but it was just the whole, like, being a leader, being a good teammate, understanding the playbook. So yeah, I ended up starting over. I ended up getting the spot. I started over him. We had one of the top offenses in the country. Shout out to Moses Harper, one of my favorite coaches I ever got to play for, because he really let me just be free and full trust in me. And I can't emphasize enough, when your coach has full trust in you, you're not playing scared or timid. Even if you make a mistake, it's like, I know when I come to the sideline, he's not going to switch up on me. He's still going to ride for the kids. So I ended up being number one quarterback in the nation, according to ESPN, out of JUCO. Okay. And then I had offers from Memphis, I think like Western Kentucky, some smaller schools. But Memphis was definitely the primary school. Like, once I went on a visit there with Justin Fuente, Brad Cornelson, a lot of those guys, I was like, yeah, Memphis is where I want to go. So that was my, high school, junior college to get to Memphis. Then I get to Memphis, and obviously, I'm sitting behind Paxton Lynch. He was my roommate, my best friend. All our class schedule was identical, and you know how the lift schedule goes too. So it's like from sun up to sundown, you're attached at the hip with the person, and it's a good thing we got along, or that would have been, that would have been weird. But yeah, I'm sitting there watching a 6'7", 240-pound guy who, the year before they were 3-9. And then when I get there, he's kind of blossoming into what Coach Fuente had seen him becoming when he recruited him. Okay. So, yeah, I really just served as the backup for that the next 2 seasons, and then Paxton left for the NFL. I had a senior season left because I redshirted my second year at Memphis. The coaches were like, yeah, you're a good energy around here. I actually had been the one to ask if I could redshirt because I wanted an extra year, knowing he's going to go to the NFL. And I really didn't have any plans for after football. So it's like, you know how that goes. Like, the more time I can get to just try to figure life out and maybe get some more clock. But then my redshirt senior year, they brought in a guy named Riley Ferguson, who also ended up being my best friend. And yeah, he had 2 years. I had 1 year. He was a much better thrower than I was. I was obviously much more athletic, and especially at Memphis. I was like 215, almost 220, running like low 4.7. And but yeah, just it makes sense. Like, that's been a gift I've always had as a player, is I can see things as from a coach's perspective, non-biasly. So that's where I understand why, okay, you got a guy who was highly touted, 4-star, was at Tennessee before he basically ended up here. And then you got a guy who, outside of the JUCO ranks, not much going for him, and then he only has a season left. So I get it. But that was one of my favorite seasons of football, period, being with – listen to this. What's you hear this lineup of staff? We had Mike Norvell at head coach.
Yep. My
quarterback coach was Kenny Dillingham.
Yep.
Okay. Then we had Dan Lanning as our linebackers coach.
Dang.
So we're already talking about 3 coaches.
Dogs.
That's all big-time head coaches. And, just in general, being able to play for Kenny Dillingham is like he's only a couple years older than me. So there was it was like he felt like a big brother, but also there was always that mutual respect of like I'm never even if you let me be buddy with you, I'm never gonna cross the line of like you are still my coach.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see him thrive and have the success that he's having because it's rare that you see a coach that actually genuinely cares about their players. Like they really mean it when they say it, not just on some, like I said,
he seems like one that truly, I remember just following like just Arizona State, and I think it was the season they had, last year. And I would just catch like little press conference things, interviews. And I had never even heard of the dude. And I just kept catching little clips. And I was like, bro, I got to follow this dude. Like every time I hear him talk and speak, I enjoy and salute all the things that he's saying and what he's doing. And he's still doing it to this day. So I can only imagine. He seems like he's one of those really genuine guys for real.
Yeah, just brings the most out of you. He's still going to coach you hard. That's the thing. It's not like, sometimes there's guys who are too friendly and whatever. He's going to get the most out of you. But simultaneously, it's coming from a place of love. So even when he coaches you hard, it's not like he's doing it to be a dickhead, And that's especially my personality type. Like, to be honest, me and Mike Norvell, shit, it was probably 3-4 practices where we're about to. I'm gonna be honest, like I wanted to swing on. Like, it's just certain coaches where it's like they say stuff where it's like it just feels, especially like I said, pre-NIL, pre-portal. Where it's like they could really say anything, and it's like, what choice do I have? So it's like having to bite your tongue at that time was a lot more of a necessity than whereas now, like you said, coaches really can't talk to you as crazy as they used to because now they know I'll just hop in the portal and go somewhere where I'm wanted. So there's a fine line, between, and you can usually tell as a player when a coach is really just coaching you hard versus they're just a dickhead and are abusing their authority. And that was something I always struggle with because that's my whole thing is like, I'm a for every practice and every workout and every lift, I'm going to give you everything I have. Mm-hmm. But the moment it goes from coaching to now, like
disrespect, personally.
Exactly. As a grown man, you're grown, you got life, I'm grown, I got life, and now it's like that line is crossed, then it would be tough because like I said, you literally have to go above and beyond your normal like thinking or feelings and really like suppress it in order to think about the longer term, like let me chill out,
Facts. So,
thank goodness for good teammates that was, kind of force you to chill out, when a motherfucker just grabs you and it's like, all right, bro, you done. Come on over here. So
facts. I understand that. And it's funny because I had I won't go into it, but I had a story the same. I was like our number one recruit coming into Kansas. And you see the number 15 right there. Yep. But I'm about to walk across the graduation stage, and I actually graduated a week after everybody else. So I got to summer school that freshman year a week after. And then the coach, as we're going across the stage, texts me like, hey, man, you're going to be number 15, but we got to put you in 83 for the summer. Like, that's just your number for the summer. Nobody's wearing jerseys. Cool. Get there. End up having 28 in my locker. And then craziest thing is, like I said, I won't go all the way. Nobody even wore number 15 my freshman year, bro, and I was wearing number 28. When I say I was livid, bro.
Right.
Bro, when I say livid, and then you talk about, like, the Mike Norvell stuff, and our coach actually got fired my second year at Kansas for mental, verbal, physical, emotional player abuse. Like, he got fired, like Mangino. So it was a whole little thing. The NCAA was coming in with lawyers and investigating. So I understand that. But let's push forward. So it sounds like obviously you probably, played and you got your time at Memphis around maybe games that, y'all were winning early in the year, wherever it may be. But somehow you then get to the FCF, the Fan Control Football League with Quavo. You're playing with Johnny Manziel, Terrell Owens, ex-NFL guys. So how does that transition happen from, hey, I was just, basically, the glue guy, the best friend of all the starting quarterbacks and now
right.
in the FCF?
Well, it's funny because that part is tough too, where it's like you go through a phase where even like this applies to the story because the transition period from Memphis to the next part of life. Because I wasn't getting to play, my brain was on some, I need to apply my energy and my focus towards something else that's going to like allow me to stay busy versus putting in all the same work that the starters put in and then having to go stand there and, you know, signal plays looking like a gang member on the sideline. Literally. You know, and the worst part is too, I tell people when you're playing as a backup, it sucks because you never get the butterflies out. Like when you're a starter, that first play, I would usually ask for like some type of run play so I could get hit that first play and just, you know, butterflies are gone. Now we're here. Let's ball. But as backup, you're just standing there waiting, not knowing. So once my career was over at Memphis, I actually elected to not even do my pro day. Mind you, the main reason I didn't do my pro day was, for one, I was so excited to like enter into entrepreneurship because while I was there at Memphis, I started doing I had my own clothing line where I was making these dry fit shirts that had the word blessed on like the bottom side of the shirt. So we would roll our jerseys up, and that way in game people could see the word blessed. So it had got to a point where you know, I had got so many. I'm sorry if you keep hearing the notifications. I'm trying to turn off all notifications for Discord, but it's not.
We know. Hey, as an entrepreneur,
right? You know, exactly. So if anyone's hearing that, I apologize. But the brain had got so big because I had started reaching out to other, you know, athletes, basically on some like, you know, I would love to send you some shirts that I've been making type of thing, which is obviously rare because athlete to athlete. But nonetheless, I remember like we were playing against Ole Miss. I had some of their top players wearing it, like Laquan Treadwell, Christian Russell, their linebacker, and some of our top players wearing it. And it started trending on Twitter at halftime. I mean, it was an ABC game, like 11 a.m. And then the very next Monday, I had sat down with the executive director of Nike.
Okay.
Willie Gregory. So even that's funny because I remember them, you know, calling me, basically lining up a meeting, and I wanted to do a like partnership. Was hoping we could do some type of collaboration, and they basically were telling me I had to stop making the shirts because they're paying millions of dollars for, you know, the schools to wear Nike, and obviously if all these people are talking about this blessed shirt, so, you know, if once school was done, then I was really excited to just take all my time back and put it into, you know, the clothing or entrepreneurship, things of that nature. So I actually,
not to cut you off, pre-NIL, right? Pre-NIL, Jeremiah Smith does this. They're going to have a whole brand line.
A whole line for it. Literally. And the worst part is, listen to this. I was already making shirts for Odell Beckham, Von Miller, Lamar Jackson, Larry Fitzgerald. Because where the brand had transformed was I actually started taking pictures of these players' whole life and journey, and I started putting them inside of the number on the back. Okay. So like a Larry Fitz, it would be 11 on the back, blessed on the side, and then you would see pictures of his whole life within the number. So it was like very curated, and I was calling them journey shirts.
Okay.
But it was like almost like a tattoo within the number. So it's like you said, if NIL, these things had existed, then it's like, bet, let's definitely collab. And, you know, because all I really wanted to help was the manufacturing, you know, and I was already making the connections with the biggest athletes. And then it's, you know, all we would have had to do was like a 7-day drop where, you know, if someone wants an Odell Journey shirt, bet you got 7 days to get it. So that kind of stuff, I already had the whole like layout plan, but nonetheless, once I actually moved to Denver. So once Paxton got drafted to the Broncos first round, since he was my best friend, he asked me to go out there and live with them. So I had went out there once my season was over. I skipped my pro day because, like I said at the time, I had also failed 3 drug tests, all marijuana related at Memphis.
Okay.
I also was thinking too, if I do my pro day or NFL team is looking at me, I'm thinking that's gonna just be already the reason why a team wouldn't want to mess with me. But mind you, the whole reason why I even got into smoking tree was from the injuries and also the physical injuries, and then also the mental anxieties and stresses, as well as the head injuries too. So I was more so used as a medicine than it was. And also keep in mind, I'm not a big drinker. Okay. So a lot of times we would get out of practice, or even the weekends, people want to go hit downtown, Beale Street, get sauced. Mm-hmm. That's not what I'm on. I wanted to just just for example, after practice, let's say we had a morning practice, I'm coming home, I'm getting fried, then I'm watching film.
Yeah.
While I'm playing, at the time, the Kodak album, Lil Big Pop, that I was bumping that every day. So yeah. I'm watching my practice film. Then what I'm doing is I'm getting fried again, and then I'm loading up Road to Glory on NCAA.
Yeah.
And I'm playing as Lamar Jackson at Louisville, but with the Arizona State playbook, which was our playbook.
Yeah.
So now, once again, I just came home, watched film, which, mind you, the coaches know I was in the top percentile of people who actually watch film. Even though I knew I wasn't playing, I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Then, because I just love it. It's like I have the NFL Plus, so I can watch the, NFL. I love the game. So then I'm playing as Lamar Jackson, doing things that I physically can't do.
Yeah.
But with our playbook, so that way I'm still getting more mental reps.
Yeah.
Of our offense. And it's like these type of things, like I said, to the average coach or somebody, they might think like, oh, if somebody, smokes weed, they're just a degenerate. Like they're not being productive. They're lazy. There's all these like preconceived assumptions that come with cannabis. When in reality, it's like I graduated a 3.4, 3.5, something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't have any issues with my teachers. I didn't have any issues about being late. Most of my coaches didn't even think that I smoked, because they're like, I remember one of the drug tests, they're like, why are y'all holding Stu so long? Like, he doesn't smoke. Just because of how much I would how I would handle myself and carry my business. Thanks. Regardless. But so that was the whole reason I moved out of Denver. I'm with the Millionaire. I ended up getting a job at Target. I'm stocking shelves from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. because I didn't want to ask my millionaire friend for money. I didn't want that to be a thing that he viewed as like, he's trying to. It's one of those weird things, It's weird when you go from being broke together to then one of your friends a millionaire. But I also didn't want to have him thinking like that's why I'm there, or I'm trying to maximize what he got going on.
Yeah.
But throughout that process, having to wake up at 1:30 a.m., go walk for 30 minutes to get to Target in the Denver cold, that shit was depressing. You go from being number one in the nation to now I got 2 degrees, my associates and my bachelor's. I'm living with the millionaire, but I'm stocking shelves at Target from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. And my manager got these Skechers Velcro joints on telling me what to do.
The dude above me, I don't even want to even have half his life, and he's above me. So where am I at?
And the worst part is I had more credentials than he did. So then it's like I got to a point in the Target where, because of my work ethic, they would have you do like 1 cart per hour, but I'm starting to knock out like 2 carts per hour, thinking I could just have a longer break or something. No, they just keep bringing you carts. So then I started looking online I found this 18-year-old kid who was traveling the world, never went to college. So I was like, bro, what do you do? He said, Forex. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm good. He was like, you're like, what do you mean you're good? Like, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to sell fake watches. I thought Forex stood for fake Rolex. I literally never heard of it. College, they don't tell you about day trading, none of that. I was just doing shirts and entrepreneur stuff. And then, so then with the day trading, I was like, okay, there was a 7-day refund period on the course. So I remember staying up almost like 3 days straight on some, like, I'm going to learn all of this. I was even, it's messed up, but I was sitting there with my phone recording the course on some, like, even if I do get the bread back, I still have the information.
Facts.
So that's just me being transparent and honest how my brain was working, But after the third day,
trying to make it and get it, you just trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
Survival mode.
because I remember even for that course, I think I had called my dad and asked him, hey, can I get $200? I'll send you it back in like a couple of weeks when I get paid. But it was just the whole concept of like, I was, like you said, I was down to try anything. I love that with trading, all I needed was Wi-Fi and some money to actually trade on the account. So it wasn't so much I had to like show up and clock in somewhere because I didn't have a car either.
Yeah.
So that's what really made I would have been an Uber driver or anything. Mm-hmm. It was never about the work, but nonetheless, after tapping into that, I remember like the first week where I had made $7 on a trade. Mm-hmm. And that was almost as much as I would make in an hour at Target. So that was really like the epiphany light bulb moment for me. This is June 26, 2017.
Okay.
When I had first got exposed to trading. And then for about 2 years, almost 3 years, I really didn't make any money. Every time I would like build up an account, I would end up blowing it and be back, crying about it. Cause it's like when you save up for months to have 3K and then you take that 3K to like 7,500 and you feel like you're on top of the world. And then you blow that 7,500 because you're trying to turn that into 20K. Then you're back at square one. Where it's like, man, I got to go work for another 2-3 months just to try to do that again.
Yeah.
So I remember I ended up getting the check from the video game. NCAA had owed us that bread. And then that check ended up being because I ended up leaving Denver. I mean, that was what's tough about trading, especially in the early stages, is most of my family and friends didn't see the vision with that I saw. It was like, we see you keep blowing accounts. We see nothing is coming from this. So like a lot of people were trying to give me ultimatums on some like, if you even want to be or if you even want to stay here anymore, like you got to get a job and it's like, I'm trying to tell folks like this is a part of the process.
Fact.
Which, mind you, I'm already upset enough about it as is. Like, it's like, bro, I don't want to be blowing money and losing accounts. Like, this shit is not fun for me either. But we're talking about trading, and it's like, I'm brand new to this. There's people who have been doing this their whole life. I'm brand new to this. So I ended up moving back to Erie, Pennsylvania, where my dad lives. I got a bunch of family there, but I had never lived there. Still no car. Then I'm working with him as a carpenter. Where we were gutting an entire property and just doing so much handyman work on this house. But it was cool because while I was learning that skill set, I was also every day 30-minute drive there, 30-minute back, teaching my dad about trading and then showing him the different trades that I would have success with and things of that nature. Even if I would lose, he was seeing all of it. So that was really cool for me because something I want people to know is like, even in seasons of life where you're not financially blessed, don't forget how rich you are, because Bob Marley says it's the things in life that money can't buy that truly make you rich. Mm-hmm. And it's like getting to be with my dad every single day and get to talk to him for at least an hour in that car, like stuff like that, where it's like, man, that's what I was, even though financially I was stressed every single day. It's like I still was so rich in experience and getting to be, with my best friend. And so I know I'm trying to like fill in the blanks to get to the FCF because it's crazy how I even ended up there. All this time that I'm working with him and saving up money, I was going to bingo nights, anything I could to try to get some money to put in an account. But mind you, the whole time I'm still every single day on some charts, every single day taking notes, every single day trying to learn more. And I love the quote, what you practice in private will get praised in public.
Yeah.
And I ended up moving to Atlanta once I got the NCAA check with my best friend Dante. And he and I were in like a trap house in East Point, basically, type. Mm-hmm. We weren't trapping, but we were in a trap house. You see, right off Campbellton. And that at that point, there was a quote I learned where it says a shark cannot outgrow its tank. And I knew the environment that I was in at home was like great for me, being with my dad, but it wasn't an environment conducive for me to go to the places I needed to. And once I was down in Atlanta, it's like, okay, you got your full 24 hours back, get to it and make things, figure it out. And that 6K that I got from the video game, I took 1.5K out of that, traded it up to like 17K. And that was one of my first like big withdrawals. in trading, where it's like, okay, I'm starting to see some success, and then fast forward to COVID year, the markets were moving way more than when there's not that type of volatility.
Okay.
So with that, I started to see way bigger builds, because I consider it builds with a lot of the style trading that I do. Like, for example, your typical trader, like at a hedge fund or something, they might manage an account for an entire year.
Okay.
And for that full 365. And then based on whatever that account started and wherever they finish it, that will be like their metrics for the year. But for a lot of us who, start with smaller accounts, things of that nature, it's not what do I look like trying to grow $4,000 conservatively over the course of a year? It's like, that just to me didn't make sense. I was more of a video game. Like, this is a lot more risky, but I know with the skill that I have and with my understanding of the markets, that when I do flip it and do BMX tech deck tricks with it, that I can get paid crazy. So September 2020 was when I had my first 6-figure day.
Okay.
I had a video where I had like FaceTime my dad and my mom, and I'm like crying because they were a part of that whole process with me. And for me to make 100K in a single day was just one of those moments where it was like, not all of it is going to be smooth sailing, but this lifestyle and all the work that you put in is going to change not only your life, but your family's life. So now I moved from the trap house to Midtown. I'm in like the sky rise. I'm overlooking the city. Fan Control Football season 1 pops up, but it's still COVID. So I elected to not participate season 1 because I didn't want to be locked down. They had a thing where people couldn't even leave the hotel type of thing. So I'm watching season 1 though, and I seen when somebody scored, they ran over to the Wendy's fan camp. It was like a celebration camp. So I'm saying to myself, what if somebody scored and they went to the Wendy's fan cam and sparked up? That's where the idea and seed was planted, to the point I have like messages where I was texting my friends like, hey, bro, what if somebody did this?
Yeah.
So then I was like, once I saw season 2 roll around, I saw that there was a open tryout, either destroying, somebody posted about it. So yeah, I just decided to go to the open tryout. I did all the drills and stuff. I actually was wearing a shiesty too, which is funny. That was like that was like the Memphis in me at that point. And yeah, I did well enough in the tryout that I had basically got asked to come to compete in the summer. So I went in the summer, and then same type of thing. They had this whole draft. I got drafted like first pick of the second round to the Beast. First game with the Beast was actually against Destroying's Glacier Boys.
Yep.
And I had 3 touchdowns in that game, and I was trolling Destroying the whole time, blowing him kisses, said that they were sleeping on me, just cranking every emote known to man. And yeah, then from there was like kind of a rocky experience, because that's the whole thing. Is like, if you got to arguing with people in the Discord, they control whether you're drafted or not. So it's like, once again, me being me, if someone's saying something I disagree with, then my personality is like, I'm gonna let you know I disagree. And yeah, then basically the Beast had elected to go elsewhere. So then that's where it was like, most of the other teams already had their quarterbacks locked in. And then the league knew, basically they were like, Stu is too much of a talent to just be sitting on the bench somewhere, especially because there was bad quarterback play on other teams. After like week 2 or week 3, there's no more drafting. So it's kind of like whatever players ended up on that team, that's where you end up. So then I got traded for Terrell Owens to go to the Zappers, which basically at that point was like Elephant Graveyard. They were trying to send me to go die. They sent me to the Zappers to go die. And we turned everything around. Every game out, every week I was there, we won. And then once I knew that Destroying was coming back to film another game where it was Glacier Boys versus Zappers, then I knew the stars had aligned, where it was like, I told Destroying, I'm like, bro, I got something planned. First touchdown. You've never seen nothing like it. Yeah. But that's such an important thing, is like, because here's the thing. When you're going through, there's a reason for every season. But when you're going through it, it doesn't always make sense why it's happened. And it's always so beautiful to look back on later, like why it happened. Oh, this had to happen like that. Because if I had stayed on the beast, if I had got redrafted, all these type of things, there would not have been that opportunity, because the reality is Destroying's camera was much more impactful than anything that the FCF had. You know, that Wendy's fan cam wouldn't have hit the same as throwing that touchdown and then walking over to Destroying and doing that. But that's why I shared what I shared with earlier, because it's like the whole point of that. Obviously, yes, I knew it would go viral. I knew it was a moment, but I knew by doing that, the third play of the game, I didn't wait till the end of the game. Some Boosie set it off energy, like third play of the game. I did that. And then it's like, now I know if I don't play well the rest of the game, they're going to say that's why. So in my head, it's like, okay, now that you did that, Stu, you have to go crazy.
Fact.
Or that'll be the reason, you know, they try to blame your performance on, because he's high. So, yeah, I mean, that was one of my best games I've ever had in my life, because it was just the level of focus and preparation I had put into that week, knowing what I was going to do. And then, yeah, it was just like, I actually ended up breaking my right foot and tore all the ligaments in the bottom of my right foot that same game at the end of the game. So once that happened and that video came out, I already knew my football career was basically cooked. But I make the joke, you know, I ended on a high note. But, you know, it's like because of the whole day trading thing, that's where it was like I felt like I was the Joker in that league. You know, I literally felt like Heath Ledger in that league, because they would find me for like certain things I would wear, like if I would have my shirt hanging out, and I would just be on some like take it out of my game check. You know, like, because I wasn't there for the money. We really didn't get paid that much. I was there to have fun playing a game I love, and then also the networking. I didn't put Stewart on the back of my jersey. I put QB Stu.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it's like I knew that every game I was going to network my ass off. I got connected with Drewski, Destroying, Quavo, Bob Menery, Steve Aoki. The list goes on, Marshawn Lynch. And that's just because of the league was such a like melting pot and opportunity for like, yeah, once your game is done, there's games going on throughout the rest of the day. So like, you know, make the most of your.
It's like on some AAU.
Literally, bro, on some like go up to someone and introduce yourself and make the most of the opportunity. And me already living in Atlanta, like even Pullman Yards where we played the game at was only 15 minutes from where I lived.
Okay.
So it's like certain stuff had just lined up so perfectly because all our games were in Atlanta. We didn't leave. All our practices, games, everything in Atlanta. So the fact that I lived there and, you know, could hop to, you know, back and forth. But then what's cool is Destroying knew, obviously, because it was so interesting, obviously they cut me from the league. Mm-hmm. But mind you, in our exit meeting, the half the owners wanted me to stay on some like, y'all don't get it. This dude could be like a McGregor of football. Like he sees the marketing side. He loves the antics. Because to me, I was telling them that league needed to be a WWE for football. That's why I was saying the other football leagues that exist, the level of play is too high for y'all to think that you're going to compete. If we're already doing this fan control thing where the people pick the plays and we're going this whole other direction, let's lean all the way into the entertainment aspect. Like, let's got built-in beef stories, you know, this whole like storyline and stuff where it's scenes and skits and everything else was my logic. But because they had already cut other players for violating, you know, smoking in hotels and stuff like that, because I had smoked weed inside of, you know, an actual facility, then it's like, we have to let you go or we're hypocritical. But I knew the traffic that had come from that. I'm like, I really did them a favor because so many people had, so many eyeballs were on that league. So many people didn't even know that league existed. Outside of T.O. and Johnny Manziel, or like you said, Quavo, Destroying, those people were doing a good job promoting the league. But like that clip had just that 2-3 days in the football community. I
did a review over it.
Yeah. It was just, it was, I knew it would, you know. It's one of the, and it's funny too because so many people thought it was Johnny Manziel because me and Johnny were on the same team.
Yeah.
So it's like, but that once again, it's like that part didn't even bother me because it's not really. It was never about me getting the notoriety. It was more so the act itself that I wanted. You know, I knew that would cause because like Kevin Durant being on that David Letterman interview talking about I'm high right now. Like Percy Harvin would get high before every game. And Calvin Johnson would smoke some weed after every game. It's like conflicting because I don't want young athletes or kids listening to this to want to go smoke weed. That's not the case. But it's like anything, you know, any medicine within, if you take too much of it, it's not good for you, you know. But they're you know, even my mom I lost my mom back like a year and a half ago, and I remember I had got her on some edibles, and just like the difference that was making for her sleep and stuff like that, and it was so cool to like see her be open-minded and want to even like try it out. So yeah, you know, I don't push it on anyone. I don't recommend anybody do something they don't feel comfortable doing. But I know for me, like I said, at Memphis, I had separated both my shoulders in JUCO. Mm-hmm. So like they were putting me on hydrocodones a lot. And it's just like that's the stuff that made me depressed. That's the stuff that had me in a dark place. But just smoking a little, you know, smoking some tree and then watching a movie or just chilling. I mean, I like smoking and going to practice. Like, to me, like it's like I said, you know, it's I wasn't doing it.
How little athletes do it than not. That's the thing. Yeah. Like they're just not getting caught because that's why it's always so funny when you see guys fail in the NBA or the NFL and all that. There's a period where they're going to test you.
Yep.
Let them test you, and then you basically get the whole rest of the year. So that's when guys are failing. It's like, bro, you know the period it falls in between.
Yep.
Like, so that's the thing. More guys than, and now it's more known. But even back in the day, it's like, no, a lot of people smoke in these leagues, but some of them are just smart enough and have enough self-control and aren't addicted to where they're like, I know we're in the little 2-month period, but it's been 3 days and I don't know when and then there's pop-up the next day. But no, like I said, KD wasn't playing. I'm high, but he's not getting tested because he's outside of the testing period.
Yeah, and now it's to the point where I'm pretty sure the NCAA doesn't even test anymore. So it's like,
I think NBA might not, NCAA might not. I think NFL still does.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are moving away from it.
Which I'm glad, you know, and it's like one of those things where, like, once again, back to NIL, all these different things that we missed out on. It's like when you're a true visionary, you don't wait for the rest of the world to agree with what you like. I already knew we should have been getting paid. I already knew that Nike should be one to collaborate with me. I already knew that I should be able to, you know, give deals to other college players because the traffic and things like these things were already known. I already knew that cannabis was way less. It was not hurting me, nothing like alcohol or opioids. So it's like when you're trying to justify things and have these conversations with people, it's like I understand a coach's reasoning where it's like, Stu, it's illegal. And it's like, but mentally, when stuff just doesn't, you know, the whole player getting paid was illegal at that time. It's like when it doesn't make sense, that's the hard-headedness in me. But yeah, because the main things I wish, you know, obviously JUCO doesn't count against your eligibility anymore.
Yeah.
So now literally you can go to JUCO and then have all 4 years. So I would have went to Memphis for all 4 years. I wouldn't have been drug tested. I would have had NIL. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, man, that
different world.
That sounded like the dream right there.
That's so. I actually, so we had a show at KU called The Gridiron. Basically, it was Hard Knocks at KU. One of our guys, he's won like regional Emmys for it. He's worked on like the Avengers. He played football with us at KU. Went off to Hollywood, worked on all these big movies. Came back to KU and started The Gridiron. One of the best series still to this day for sports in general. Now, like he does 30 for 30s. He does the Amazon Prime stuff. He actually was a director for Coach Prime series on Amazon, right? So I'm big on those episodes just because, you know, I'd score a little touchdown in practice and it might be a fan day and I'll walk over there, talk to the kids like, hey, man, y'all know DP, you know, like all that stuff. So season ends And the fans are like, man, we sure miss watching the gridiron, and we love, seeing Damon on there just because I did the extra stuff, the real entertainment. Well, he's like, man, the fans want you. They're all on the message boards. We need to do something for the summer. So we come up with an idea of where, like, he was like, hey, how about you? And we get a big goofy lineman to compete against other teams in their sport. And I was like, no, me and my roommate need to do it because we have great chemistry, but we're both athletic. We both play football, baseball, basketball. So we'll actually be competitive, but we'll be funny. That's going to be a better watch than us just getting blown out. And I don't even have chemistry with this big goofy dude. Right. So basically, we do an episode. We put the first episode out. It blows up. My dude runs it. My teammate runs into the camera. Like, we score. We beat the soccer girls in a shootout. So we do the soccer. He puts his shirt over his face. He's running it like a $5,000 camera on a tripod that the school owns. Runs straight into it. They think he can see through the shirt. He can't. Splits his head open, like blood gushing. So it was called DP and AJ Take on KU. And he's like, we can't put that in. I said, it's called DP and AJ Take on KU. I invited you to this. We're putting that in. It goes viral. Aaron Andrews hits us up. Skip Bayless and Stephen A. on First Take hit us up. The Yankees hit us up. ESPN wants us to do the car wash, which is being on every show for the day. Yeah. School says no. Head coach says no. When I say sick, I'm talking about, bro. For that summer, we were like local celebrities. Like, we
so much opportunity missed out on over some. We missed out on so much, bro. Yeah. Well, the one thing I know is like this is one thing I've learned over time is the blessings and gifts that God has for our life is a lot of times in a box, but we just don't know what day we get to open those things, open that box. So a lot of time when we feel like we missed out, or because like even for example, that I don't know if you've seen that video where I was snowboarding and I threw a football to my boy Andrew Jamil, who was skiing, and he caught it. So House of Highlights had hit me up to repost that video. I know House of Highlights not the same as all those other platforms, but it's a big platform. Yeah. And anytime you can get your content on a platform like that, because my goal with the football stuff is to be like a lethal shooter, quarterback. So even the next video I have planned is I'm gonna go to Memphis. I have one of my former teammates. He rides dirt bikes, so I'm gonna have him just be hauling on a dirt bike and just launch him a ball as far as I can. Have him drive up under it and catch the ball. Yeah, but that's been my goal and vision with these throws is kind of like letting the world be your canvas, like a lethal shooter for throwing. But yeah, House of Highlights had Pump Pick Me. They were like, hey, bro, do you own the rights? Can we post your video? I'm like, absolutely, you can post my video, And I think I had said like, hey, if it's cool, can you tag Andrew Jamil too? And then I never posted. And it's like stuff like that. I know it's not the same type of thing, but it's one of those things where it's like whatever he has planned for you, he has planned for you. And there's going to be things along the way that test the authenticity of that vision. And how we respond to those tests. It's like some people can say, oh, they didn't post, like, oh, I'm defeated, I give up, or it's like, nah, bet I'm gonna come up with 3 more concepts where it's like, eventually they can't ignore it, or it's like, something just is gonna pop where it's like, all right, we gotta circle the block. And even if it's not them, it's just in general. But yeah, I mean, the NIL stuff that we missed out on, all that stuff, the amount of like cushion and just peace of mind it would have given so many of us transitioning from college to the next part of life is like I wouldn't have had to been at Target from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. because that stuff is so depressing. When you go from feeling like the top dog, the alpha, the guy, the big man on campus, to now I'm with high schoolers. Yeah. They're talking about they're here right now stocking shelves to go to college. I'm like, bro, I have 2 degrees and I'm here with you. Facts. And my roommate's a millionaire. He said, they're like, nah, bro, we don't believe you. Like, I'm like, bro.
They think you the old high college dropout that's lying about who he knows. Yeah. Why you here with us? if the guy, because
right, like, yeah, okay,
like,
bro,
no way
yeah, my
Paxton
cousin's
Lynch.
Von Miller type, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Heck, no, they like, you wouldn't be here with us then.
But I'm grateful that the humbling process of a lot of that stuff, because sometimes you have to be so pissed off to want to change your life and change your direction that it takes being that upset. It takes something that you hate that much to be the driving factor of like, no, I actually have to study. Like when I get home, I'm going to take a nap, but then I actually have to study and start looking up different opportunities because I hate this that much. And I love the quote where it's like, either I make this work or I go back to work.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going back to work. So it's like, you know, day trading is not one of those things that I've been very clear. I recommend people get into investing way more than day trading. Day trading is a whole. Day trading is like, it's like Jurassic Park. Like, bro, if you're cool with knowing there's raptors and T-Rex and all types of stuff out there that can kill you, then by all means, if you're cool with that, go out there and live that life. But for the average person, just invest. Just learn how to, okay, even with XRP, it's like people don't have to day trade it, which is the leverage trading. But when XRP was at 12 cents, I was posting on Facebook about how this was a great opportunity for people to be buying. You know, I'm not a financial investor or advisor, and this is not financial advice, but it's like me just being a quarterback and doing my research, doing my homework, looking for opportunities. Even right now, Bitcoin, I'm not really telling a lot of people to buy Bitcoin because for your money to double, Bitcoin will have to go to like 120K right now.
Yeah.
So that's why I look at other projects where like a XRP, where right now its price is sitting at like $1.38. So for your money to double, it only has to go to $3 and basically 60 cents. You know, it's just, to me, that's a lot more, a higher likelihood. So, you know, that's what I recommend is people get into investing. But day trading had kind of found me. Had I had the NIL money, had all those things happen, I probably would have never touched day trading because to me it would have seemed too risky. But I'm grateful for it because it's a skill set that allows you to multiply money if you know what you're doing and if your that muscle has been hardened to an extent. Right. Like the reason why I was able to make 400K in a day was because I've seen over 1.2 million floating on my screen before that I didn't close. You see what I'm saying? So that's what's tough too. Is like before it even gets to 400K, you might want to close at 100K because that number to you psychologically is like, oh my gosh, it's 100K. Which my first 100K day, that was the reason.
Mm-hmm.
I had never seen that much money, so my brain was like, oh my gosh, I will not be able to live with myself if I don't close this right now.
Yeah.
So I closed it, handled it, boom. Then while I was actually playing in the Fan Control Football League, I had my biggest loss, which was 240K.
Yeah.
Still had to go to weights, still had to go to practice, still had to go to meetings. Life doesn't go on pause or on hold, but I will say them 3K accounts that I was blowing when that's all I had, that hurt more than the 240.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what people don't realize is it's all about where you're at in life, right? So when 3K, I lose that might be everything.
Yeah.
240, I might have had $1 million in the account. So that's 24% of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what people don't realize. It's kind of like getting that first $10,000 day hits better than the $200,000 day once I've already made millions of dollars. $200,000 is a regular day. When I made 10K and I only had 1K and I flipped it times 10, it was like, I can live now, right? And that's what people don't realize. The big loss or the big win isn't always the one that you're most happy or most sad about, because usually the small losses meant more because it was everything I had at that time. And the win that was 500 for that day let me be able to go, get some food that I didn't think I was going to get for that week. That's what people don't realize when it comes to investing and making money. Them smaller amounts actually meant more because it was a way bigger percentage of where I was at in life at that point.
It reminds me of the Bible when I think it was that woman who had given all that she had left and people were trying to clown her basically for like how can she barely gave anything, but then Jesus had something like she gave more than all of you, because she literally gave everything she had. Yeah. And so it's kind of similar to that. I even with the Ryan Garcia, he just won a belt. Yeah. And Oscar De La Hoya was saying how like this right here, your first belt, is probably the greatest feeling that you'll get as a champion. Yeah. Because there's something called the law of normality that I studied heavy up on, where it's like, let's say that you go to a theme park the first time in your life. You've always dreamed of going to Disney World. You're there, boom, you're enjoying it. Versus you're an employee at Disney World, so you're clocking in there every day. Yeah. And Disney World doesn't have the same magic and flair that maybe it did when you went as a kid or the first time. Yeah. Because it starts to become normal. You start to become numb to it. So with even the trading and the money, exactly. Like this was my biggest win, but it also came off the back of I took $8K to $1.2 million, didn't close out, saw hundreds of thousands of dollars come off off my chart, off my screen, and losing all of, even though it wasn't a loss because I never closed, it's like fluctuation. Yeah, one of those things where it feels like a loss because you didn't realize your gains, when it's like, damn, if I had closed, then this would have been that. So, but what I took away from that was the psychology of, now I've seen over 1.2 million on my screen from a single trade. So now my brain is on some, like, just like 225 on the bench. Before you do 225, it feels like, how could I ever do that? But the first time you ever hit it, then there's a psychological flip that gets switched. Where it's like, you look at 225, like, bro, I'll lay down on the bench right now and crank one out for you. If you
Facts. So
it's the same.
That's big, man. Like, not to cut you off, but like what you're saying is, at some point, you have to, we know in anything you have to fail, right? In order to do anything big, you're not just going to get everything you do. You have to fail. But like you said, it hardens the heart, it hardens the brain, it hardens the mind. It gets you into that mindset of, hey, I failed, but at least I learned. And then when you then succeed, it gives you that other side, right, of that dopamine of, I've done this, so I know I can do it again. So in between those two, you got to find which is the normality of something of, like, I don't want to be super excited, but super depressed. What can I normally do? What gives me a feeling of success that I can repeat over and over, so I'm not chasing because I saw 1.2 million one time, right? Because that's the killer for some people and what most people in investing, because they invest in a penny stock that blows up. Yep. But they only put a little bit of money in it. But they know, if I would have put this much in it, then so now they go put a lot of money into it and think it's going to happen again. Or instead of realizing that 416, you could have went to say, but I seen 1.2 before, it'll probably get back up there again. And now you lose a 416. Like, so what is the biggest things that you see why guys lose money when they're day trading? Is it the strategy? Is it the greed, the discipline? What's the biggest thing that makes them lose?
I think the discipline, just like quarterbacking or anything else. It's like quarterbacking. If I don't take what's there, I had a coach teach me, first downs lead to touchdowns, where it's like, if I'm always trying to throw the low percentage deep ball, then more often than not, like, a couple of them will get caught. But then it's like, versus being more methodical and less emotional, or of like, even same thing, when you throw a pick, what do most people try to come back out and do? They try to, make up for the pick, where it's like, bro, like, just play within the system. You're being too emotional. And I remember Coach Fuente had even told me, he was like, Stu, you get too high when things are good and you get too low when things are bad. Like, I need you right here. I need you right in the middle. And so that's something that I'm progressively forever working on, because with trading, it's very easy. And same as sports, when you're having good practices and good games, everything is great, right? You're the best family man. Hey, anything you need. Oh, you need me to go down the store and pick up some? I got you.
Facts.
But if you just got torched at DB for 200 yards, you see what I'm saying? And y'all lost, and maybe you got benched. And then now it's like, bro, don't nobody talk to me.
Facts.
And it's tough because with sports, you have the locker room and that in-between time to try to decompress and separate the emotions of the two. Because it's like, okay, even though that's what happened on the field, my mom, my dad, my brother, my girl, whoever it may be, I need to go be the best. I need to go still excel in that area of my life. Let me not let that carry off over into this. With trading, that doesn't exist.
It's
Trading,
all one world.
if you lose, that's why I had just posted some today where I was like, trading is one of them things that will have you looking at your phone in random places like you're in a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And it was like my boy was on the bench and I'm not even spotting him. And that's the thing is like having that self-awareness and being able to, acknowledge when you need time off the charts, like you don't need to trade anymore, or when you need to decompress before you talk to your loved ones, or being able to communicate and vocalize, I need 20 minutes to 30 minutes because I just got torched for 240. You see what I'm saying? So it's definitely a discipline thing, but also just, people have to have a system. System stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. So having a system that you have then the discipline to follow, I love that discipline in my head stands for a disciple's plan. So it's like I got to have a plan to be able to go see that success. And if I don't follow these rules, then I need to understand that's why I got torched. Yeah. And then also simultaneously, whatever I put in this account, I need to already be okay with losing because we know that anything can happen here.
Facts.
So it's tough, It's like I said, a lot of the time, most people, including myself, we don't put in money that we're okay with losing, especially when you see it as your way out. To me, I always saw trading as like the ability to become Neo in the Matrix, where it's like, if I keep growing my mind and my understanding, and because it's like your subconscious is like a t-shirt. Once if I stretch this and rip it all the way down, it'll never return to its initial size. Yeah. So the mind is the same way. When you keep growing it and developing it and getting it used to things that you weren't comfortable with before, you don't go back. So that's the tough thing is like Kobe scores 81. How does Kobe keep himself from going out every game saying, if I don't get 81, it's a failure?
Facts.
And that is back to just not every night that you show up is going to be the opportunity or that's what your team needs. So you got to just kind of like reset the canvas per se, take what you learned from that 81-point game, but it doesn't mean every trade or every setup needs to be 81. It's like it's nothing wrong with a 25 and 10 type of night.
Facts. So with you doing this trading and all that, do you teach a lot of people? Do you have courses, classes? How do you kind of grow like what you've learned? Like what do you give to the community or, people around you or the homeboys or the family?
Yeah, everything's free. I have a free Discord, free course. So I don't charge for anything. I'm not even doing one-on-one mentorships or anything like that right now because I'm working on several other projects. I probably have 4 to 5 different projects that I'm currently working on that takes most of my time. And everything that I have for the most part, I usually, if I get in a trade, I let the Discord know, hey, I'm getting in the trade, use good risk. But the transparency of whatever I'm doing, I know people could simultaneously be doing, just with whatever level that they're at. And to me, that's like I said, the game is there. It's for people to tap into if they want. But still, like I said, statistically, people should know in trading, 95% of people fail. Yeah. But I don't look at that as the end-all be-all because if we tell people statistically how many people go D1 to the level that we did.
Less than 95%. Less than the 5%, right? It's 3%. And that's just college in general, let alone D1 and league.
Okay, then.
We would never all start playing football.
So that right there is the reason I had the mentality where I'm like, 5%? That's a much larger pool than what I just achieved. So it's like, that's the type of logic and thinking that I had because real estate, Amazon, business, drop shipping, it doesn't matter what field you look at. The range is going to be within probably 10 to 5% most of the time as far as the top performers or income earners. So the name of the game is forever just learning and growing. I love the cool, like forever a white belt mentality, forever a student. Where it's like, and even Larry King, I love his quote. He said, "What I know is that I don't know." Yeah. So for me, I just want to keep learning and growing. And I've seen the path and direction that God has taken me on my life. And it's all glory to him, because like I said, just having that trust and that faith and knowing that like what he has planned for you is greater than the plans you have for yourself, has allowed me to look at even the days where it doesn't make sense or things aren't going well. Because after that 400K day, I actually hopped on a Bible study with like Ross 500, my boy Sean Thomas. A lot of us that went to JUCO, we have Bible studies on Thursdays. Okay. And I had shared my, success story. And I said I was looking forward to sleeping that night because I had slept in the last 3 days. And the pastor had to remind me, why weren't you getting good sleep? And he shared with me the story of Jesus on the boat in the middle of the storm, how he was sleeping good. And it was just a good reminder where it's like, whether you're up 400K or down 400K, like you should be sleeping with the same level of peace, and that we can all find peace through him. Yeah. And for me right now, it's just more so like I want to be an open book and help people learn about how to trade, because even understanding trading, I think, makes you a better investor too, because then it also gives you a much better idea of when to get in or when to get out of investments. And then also what it can create. I look at trading as one of the vehicles that then allows me to fund real estate projects, other businesses that I have going on, where it's like I can send money that I'm making from trading to those things, where then that's just going to be making more money at a much more like consistent and conservative rate. Facts. So, just playing quarterback in life now. That's the beauty of it. Is I'm coaching quarterbacks at St. James Academy. Shout out to Daryl Overton and the St. James Academy. We're ranked number 1 in the state of Virginia this past season. Our only loss was to St. Francis, who was top 3 ranked national school, but both DMV schools showing the talent that we have here in this area. And to me, being able to coach those guys this year and be a part of that staff was so therapeutic. Like I said, after losing my mom, the hard thing is to find things that still bring you peace of mind, still bring you joy, and getting to coach and be a part of that process every day. It takes your mind off, things that kind of sometimes take you to a bad place. So, I'm looking forward to next season, seeing how we can grow and expand things that are being built. I'm probably shoot a YouTube video on Wednesday on some like St. James and MTV Cribs edition. So okay. See what the facilities is looking like.
Okay, and like I said, condolences on mom, and just shout out to you to be able to keep moving forward, because many people aren't able to stay as productive after losing somebody so close to them, just because of just what it does to them mentally, emotionally, and all that. So condolences on that, but shout out to you for continuing to do the things that that you need to do, and also that would make her proud to see. Absolutely. You do. But like I said, we could be on here all day talking about investments and just life, but leave the people with just words of encouragement that do want to be in that 5% that's getting into investing. What would you tell them, the ones that say, hey, 5% is good by me, I want to go get it?
I think for those people, I would say I like leaving people with actionable steps, because, motivation is like anyone could go on YouTube and listen to motivation. But the thing that really helped me change my life was when I got very organized about my expenses and everything. So I literally would download my bank statements, put it on an Excel sheet, so that way I could mark out. And I still do this to this day, but it's so cool to see the evolution of this process for me, where I would see, let's say January, this is how much I spent, but this is also how much money came into my bank account. So that way each month you're seeing how much you're making, how much you're spending. Yeah. And then simultaneously focusing on mapping out, time blocking your days, the same way we would do with practice periods.
Yep.
Where it's like we show up to practice, they got 24 periods, and every single period is blocked to get the most out of that time with this team. So if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be a day trader, if you're going to do something that somebody's not behind you directly telling you, you got to do this, then you have to be the head coach of your own life and schedule to success, right? So that would be my biggest thing. Just try to get 1% better every day, the compound effect. You know, it's like don't overwhelm yourself with thinking you have to have it all learned and understood in one day. But if you spend 30 minutes a day on a thing for 5 days straight, then that's 5 times 30. That all of a sudden, you know, you're starting to add up and it's starting to compound. And then more than anything, put your faith and trust in God, in Jesus Christ himself, and trust that like I said, whatever he has planned for you, he's going to take you to that place. You just have to be willing to see it through. That's the biggest thing. Life is going to test those visions and things that you have and the things that you say you want done. When I said I wanted to go D1, people said it's stupid, it's crazy, you're wasting your time. When I said I was going to be a day trader and, you know, I'm a 6-figure, 7-figure day trader, people say you're crazy, you're wasting your time. It's like, it doesn't matter what people say. It's what are you willing to commit to, and what are you praying to God for, or what is he putting on your heart? So just know you continue to be you too, brother. You're like I said, you're shining a light on a lot of things that need to be exposed within the world that we lived in, and that new people, like even that video we're talking about how so many players they don't have real agents. You know, it might be a cousin or a family member who is like, hey, bro, I got you. I'm going to handle this NIL deal for you. But in reality, there's no contract, or if it is a contract, they haven't read it over. People are getting screwed. So it's a lot of different, you know, us being who we are and carrying ourselves with principles, integrities, things of that nature. I know for a fact that God has some amazing things still planned for you. And the stuff that we feel like we missed out on, brother, I promise you, God keeps receipts. He's going to spend the block. You know, it's all coming, brother. I promise you. So we just got to keep our eyes fixed on him, seek him first, and everything else will come. But I hope you have a great rest of your week, man. I appreciate you having me come on here, and I'm excited to see what the rest of this year holds for us.
Man, no, I appreciate you, bro, for spending time with us to be able to get this done, man. Like I said, a lot of good gems. I love the backstory because it just showed the perseverance that you had to go all the way to get to this point, to get you to a place that you got to continue to hit your head and get back up, hit your head, get back up. So it prepared you for this moment, for the 1.2, for the 416, and for many days beyond that, and many games beyond that, and then shoot whatever, you know, days that we have on the other side. It's all been preparation for what you're doing now. So I appreciate you, bro, man. Have a good day. Have a good week. And yeah, bro, make sure y'all follow my guy on Instagram at QB Stew. Do you have, what's your YouTube?
Everything's QB Stew.
Okay, perfect. Everything's QB Stew. So y'all make sure y'all go to all socials and follow him on that. We're out. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe. Y'all have a good day.